Here to discuss the impact of the first tax bill in this 2014 session, we have the Commissioner of Revenue, Myron Frans. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you, Julie.
Commissioner, obviously most Minnesotans are talking about this tax bill that recently passed. Let's talk first of all, how many Minnesotans are going to be impacted and how are they impacted?
Well, that's a good way to start. Remember, the tax bill was $508 million. $232 million of that was for the elimination of the sales taxes. But the other portion, the little over $200 million, was strictly for individual income tax. And of that, $57 million is retroactive. So the $57 million of income tax breaks work for 2013. 49 million of that goes to individuals and 8 million goes to small businesses. So that's the amount of money. 57 million is the amount of money that people can use right now on their filing for 2013 taxes.
And I'm sure a lot of people are saying, am I included in that money? So give me some of the categories that are included in this retroactivity and who and then which ones take effect in 2014.
There are about 10 major deductions and credits. There's the working family credit for those folks who have earned income under $47,000. There's a lot of education. There's a tuition deduction. There's a deduction for school debt interest that you might pay. There's the home insurance premium deduction. There's a deduction for mortgage debt. So if you lost your home for a loss, you don't have to include that as income. That's an important one. So there are a lot of opportunities for people, and most of them are on individual deductions.
What do people need to do now? I'm sure some of our viewers are listening going, well, that could be me, but maybe it isn't me. So let's talk about what they need to do.
The first thing for people is to decide whether they qualify for one of these 10 categories. And they can go to our website and see a list, and they can look at that and decide whether they qualify. But remember, all of these deductions that we're extending to 2013, they've already will have claimed on their federal return. So really what we're doing is we're saying if you claimed it on your federal return, there's nothing you have to do on your state return after April 3rd. It will be taken care of, and you get that deduction automatically because it lowers your federal taxable income. So people need to go and look, do they qualify or not? If they don't qualify and they've already filed, no problem, their return will be processed as usual. If they haven't filed, they should go ahead and file and pay by April 15th. But if they do think they qualify for one of these 10 new deductions, they should wait until April 3rd, and that's when the new forms and the new law will be ready to be accepted by the Department of Revenue.
And so at that point, do they need to file an amended return? You had mentioned at one point that perhaps they didn't have to file and the Department of Revenue would do the work for you and just send you a check.
Well, the reason we wanted to get the tax bill passed last week, we needed time to change our forms at the Department of Revenue and also the software providers. They have to change theirs too. So if you go online to get a software provider, that will now be updated by April 3rd as well. Our goal was to get these changes so that the last 2 weeks of filing, about 1 million people, they will file with the correct new law. No amended returns will be required. But if in fact you have already filed and you qualify for one of these new deductions, the Department of Revenue is going to be able to make those changes for most taxpayers because we'll be able to look on your return and see that you claimed a federal deduction for interest deduction for student loans, and we'll make that adjustment for you and send you the refund check. If we can't do it, we'll notify you. So if you don't hear from us, and you will be hearing from us if we think you qualify, if we need more information, or if you file an amended return. We want to avoid the amended return process as much as possible.
Okay, so people just really need to take a step back and wait to hear from the Department of Revenue. Any timeline on when they could expect notification from your office?
We don't have that figured out quite yet. In fact, all of our focus has been getting the changes fixed in the Department of Revenue and out to the software providers so that we can be ready for April 3rd. And then we want to process as many people as we can by April 15th. We will come up with a date that we can tell people, if you haven't heard from us by a certain date, then contact us and we'll check it out for you. Because we're always ready to take those kind of calls. But it's going to take us a month or so. We just need to give we haven't figured out what that date should be yet to let people say, wait until you hear from us.
Okay, Commissioner, let's look ahead real quickly. A second tax bill is already in the works. What do you expect to come out of the legislature the remaining of the session?
It is in the works. I've been meeting the last several days with both the House Tax Chair Ann Lachesky and the Senate Tax Chair Rod Scory, and we are working on a tax bill number 2. I think it'll be a smaller, obviously a smaller version than what was passed last Friday, but there are some other things that need to be done. There are some technical things that need to be done. The department has a technical bill and a policy bill, and the governor's unsession bill is in that too, where we eliminate a lot of unnecessary laws and rules. So, but there are some other items, spending items. I know that there's some concern about property taxes, maybe some more property tax relief. There's also our intent for the governor is to propose more child care credits. As you may have heard, the governor proposed expanding the child care credit dramatically, and that wasn't part of the bill. So we would like to have that extended so that it would be in play for the next year. And the other thing that you asked a little bit ago that I forgot to mention was the marriage penalty credit. That is effective for 2014 going forward. So right now, maybe 1 in 10 taxpayers will qualify for 2013 relief. But in 2014, filing next year, almost 4 or 5 out of 10, almost half, over 1 million taxpayers will qualify, particularly because of the marriage penalty elimination.
Commissioner, my last question for you is the rhetoric really has been for some time about trying to provide relief for middle-class Minnesotans. Do you think that bill qualifies?
It absolutely does. Almost every single one of these provisions has an income limit, and in fact, most of them phase out somewhere around $70,000 or $80,000 or $100,000. So this package that was passed really is focused on middle income and lower income. So it's very progressive.
Okay, Commissioner, and we do need to apologize to you and our viewers. There is some construction here at the Capitol,
There's a lot of construction
there is a
here.
little ambient noise going on. So thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Thank you.